This is the Roulette Master, and I cannot wait to introduce you to the incredible I Like to Move It by Daniel Matthias. He says this is consistently winning day after day in the casino. I can't wait to share it with you, and today we're going to put his system up against another fantastic system. This is 5 double streets, and I'm going to share with you how to recover and how to keep winning with 5 double streets. We're going to start with that first, and let's see which one of these systems makes the most money in 15 minutes. So let's start by placing $10 bets on 5 double streets. And let's do that. That's a $50 bet. And let's spin. Here we go with 5 double streets first. And let's see what we get here. That is a 23 red. With each one of these wins, we're going to win $10. And you can see we're up 10 after one win. So let's just rebet and spin. And then once we lose, I'll share with you what to do next. That's a 1 red. Okay, we lost, so we're going to go from 10 to 30 on all these bets. Okay, but we're not going to reset if we win, and I'll share with you what to do if we do win here. And we have a really good chance of winning every spin, though, with this much coverage, and that's a 28 black. Okay, so after you go from 10 to 30, if you win, you go from 30 back to 20. So let's go ahead and do that. So you go from 3 times the bet to 2 times the bet. Just like that. Okay. And now we have a $100 total bet. And let's go ahead and spin. So there should be 20 on each now. And that's a 6 black. Okay, that's a nice $20 win. Now we go back to where we started with 10 on each. And then I'll share with you coming up what happens if you lose during the recovery. That's really important as well. And let's get a win here with 5 double streets. That's a 19 red. Another win. We're up $20. Let's just rebet and spin. And let's see what we get here. Okay, that's an 18 red. You're going to get lots of wins with this one because we do have 30 numbers covered. And it's high coverage system. We're up 30. All right, let's continue to get some wins here. And then when we need to recover, we'll do it. And that's an 8 black. That's a good win. We're up $40 with 5 double streets. And this is a really good way to play it. High coverage systems are fun because you get so many wins. But we just lost there, so let's go back into the recovery process. So let's go from 10 to 30. Let me fix that. There we go. Okay, and then let's spin. And again, if we win this, we go from 3 times to 2 times. So from 30 to 20. And that's a 10 black. Okay, that's a win. So we're going to back these $30 bets back up to 20. There we go. And if we win here, we go back to base level at 10. That's a 29 black. Okay, that's a good win. And we're up $50. You can see that those were at, let's see here. We had 20. Those were at 20 each, so we go back to 10 now. Let's go back to base level. Always double check that and make sure. And let's spin. So we go from 3 times to 2 times to back to 1 times, where we started, and that's a 19 red. Okay, that's a win. We're up $60. Let's just rebet and spin. And you should be able to get a lot of wins at this base level with the 30 numbers covered. And that's a 4 black. That's a nice win. We're up 70. And sometimes you think if it's real low or real high, you're going to have a loss. But then all of a sudden you realize, you know what? I only have, one street on each side that's not covered. And so we're up 80. So that's why you get so many wins. Really, if you're not 000 or 1, 2, 3 or 34, 35, 36, you're pretty good. And then just as I say that, we hit that. So let's go into the recovery process again, 10 to 30. So we go 3 times, then 2 times. And then if we lose in the recovery process, I'll share with you what to do next. Or in the first recovery. And that is a win. So we go from 30 on each to 20 on each. So let's go ahead and do that. So we were at 30 each. Now we're at 20 each. And let's spin. Let's get a win here. All right, here we go. That's an 18 red. That's definitely a win. Okay, so we're up $80. Let's just rebet and spin again. All right, here we go. That's a 5 red. That's a win. Okay, up $100. And now we need to go back to base level. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, back to base level, and let's get a win here. That's an 11 black. Okay, that's a nice win, and we're up 110. We'll just rebet and spin, and let's see what we get here. That's a 3 red. That's definitely a loss, so we'll go into the recovery process again. 10 to 30. There we go. Now we're at 150 total bet, and let's go ahead and spin. That's a 31 black. And that's a win. So we go from 3 times to 2 times. So let's go ahead and do that. So we go from 30 to 20. And spin. All right, here we go. Let's get a win at 2 times here, and that's a 7 red. That should be a win. So we go back to base level now. We're up $110. And now we're back to 10 each, 50 on 50 total, 5 double streets with 10 each. And that's a 24 black. All right, that's a good win. We're up 120. And let's spin again, see how many wins we can get in a row. Normally when I say that, we have a loss on the next spin, but that's okay. We got a win there. And that is a win. We're at 130 profit. Let's rebet and spin. That's a 23 red. Okay, we're up 140. Let's rebet and spin again. That's a 35 black. And it's a loss. So let's go ahead and go from 10 to 30 and start the recovery process. Again, we go from 3 times to 2 times to back to base level. And let's go ahead and spin at 150 total bet. That's a 14 red. That's a $30 win there. And we're up 120. That was at 3 times, so we back up to 2 times the original bet. Now we're at 2 times, and let's get a win here so we can reset back to base level. That's a 3. We lost. So if you lose in the recovery process like this, you go 3 times where you're currently at. So so we're at 20, so that means we're going to go from 20 to 60. So we're going to go 3 times. Just like that, and then spin. And then if we lose this, if we win this one, we go to 2 times that, so we go to 40. Okay, so that is a $60 win. So since we won, we drop back to 2 times, which would be 40. We started this one at 20. So when we lost, that's what's important. So when we lost, we were at 20. Then we went to 60. Now back to 40. Okay, let's go ahead and spin and get a win here. All right, here we go. That's a 6 black. Okay, that's a nice win. We're up $120, and that was at 2 times. So now we'll go back to, instead of going back to where we started, we'll go back to 20. Because that's where this one where it was when we lost. And let's get a win at 20 before going back to 10. So let's do that and spin. So we had lost at this $20 level. That's a 17 black. And then we went from 20 to 60, then 20 to 40. So 3 times the 20, then 2 times the 20, and then back to the 20. Now we're up 140, and we're going to reset back to base level now. So anytime you get a chance to do that with any system, go ahead and keep the bets as low as possible, as long as you're retaining good profit. And here we go. That's a 21 red. That's a good win. So we're up 150. And let's see how many wins we can get in a row before we have another loss. That's a 14 red. Okay, that's a win. We're up 160. Let's see if we can win 10 in a row. A lot of times you get on streaks where you win a lot with 30 numbers. And let's see how many we can win in a row here. We're up 170. Sometimes with 30 numbers, you can even get a bunch of wins and cash out before you have a loss. That's even better. And you don't even have to do the recovery. But this is a nice recovery process. And we're up 180. Okay, let's go ahead and rebet and spin. That's a 23 red. And we're up 190. Let's rebet and spin. Here we go. That's a 0 there. So we definitely lost that one. And we'll go to 3 times and then back to 2 if we get the win. All right, let's go ahead and spin it 3 times the bet. That's a 3 red, and we lost again. So now we go 3 times again. So we'll go from 30 to 60 to 90. So let's go ahead and do that. And remember, since we lost at 30, that's important that when we win at 90, we go to 2 times 30, which would be 60. There we go. We're at 450 total bet now. So if we win this, we go back to 2 times 30, which would be 60 each. Okay, that's a win. So we're up 80. Let's go back to 60 each. So let's do that. And if we get the win here, we go back to 30, which is where we were when we lost. Okay, so let's go ahead and spin. This is at 60. We went from 30 times 3, which is 90. Now 30 times 2, which is 60. And that's a win. So we go back to where we were when we lost, which is 30. Okay, we're up $140. And let's get a win here at 30. And that's a 12 red. Okay, and then if you get a win at 30, then you're going to reset. So we're up $170. We go back to 10, 10, 10. Actually, I didn't get those down right. You can put them wherever you want, but I like to keep them centered. You can, but you can favor one side if you would like. It doesn't really matter as long as you have 5 double streets covered. And here we go. So you go 3 times, 2 times, and then you go back to where you the amount that you lost at. We're up at 180. Let's rebet and spin with 5 double streets. That's a 0. We definitely lost that one, so we're back in the recovery process. So we go 3 times. And if we win, we go to 2 times. All right, let's go ahead and spin. And we lost again. So now we go from 30 to 90 3 times. So we go to 3 times every time that we lose. And then we go back to 2 times. So then again, if we win at 90, we go back to 60 because 30 times 2 is 60. So here we go. 90 each, 450 total. Let's get a win here. That's a win on 24 black. So we go from 90 back to 60. So let's do that. Oh, we got to put one more on there. There we go. So all these are going from 90 to 60. And then we start at 30. So if we win at 60, we go back to 30. All right, here we go. That's a 27 red. That's a win. So we go back to 30, which is where we were when we lost. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go back to 30 each. Okay, we're at 150 total bet now, and let's spin. That's a 4 black. That should be a win. Okay, and if you get a win there, you go back to where you started. So then we go back to 10, 10, 10, 10, and 10. $50 total bet. And this will be our final spin. We're right at the 15-minute mark. and we lost. Okay, so let's go ahead and recover. We're actually got a couple seconds left here. Let's do a recovery on this one. You don't want to, on a high coverage system like this, you don't want to finish without any recovery at all. So we'll go 3 times because you're probably going to win the next spin for sure. Not always, but so we won there. Then we go from 3 times to 2 times. So let's do that, and then we'll finish off this session here. We'll go a few seconds over. So now we're at 2 times, and then once we do that, we're recovered. And that's a 6 black we recovered. And actually, we're only a few seconds over 15 minutes. So we made $180 profit in 15 minutes with 5 double streets. And now it is time for the new roulette system of the day. Can't wait to share that one with you, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Let's just jump right in and get started. Here we go. All right, the time is finally here for I Like to Move It by Daniel Mathias. Let's place the bets, and I really like the way this one looks. Let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to start with these 3 double streets and spin. We're going to be moving these around, and I'll share with you how and when to move them. That's a 26 black. And we started with a win. When we win, we just rebet and spin. We do not move the double streets. So here we go. And then I'll share with you the progression and everything else you need to know to start making money with this one. I really like the way this one looks. And we lost. So we're going to move to a different double street. We're going to go up 2 units. So we're going to go from 5 to 15, and we're going to move to these ones right here. And now we have 15, 15, and 15. Let's go ahead and spin. We're going to have 3 different betting patterns here, and that's a 9 red. Okay, we got the win. When we get the win, we keep the bet the same but go down 2 units. So we go back to base level, just like that. And we're going to spin at $15 total bet. And here we go. That's a 2 black. Okay, we lost, so we're going to move the bets. And now we're going to go from 5 to 15. And we'll be on these bets right here. This is the 3rd one that we've done so far. We shift over to the right a little bit with each one. And this is the last one. After this, we go back to the ones we started with. So let's go ahead and spin with 15 on each. If we win, we go back 2 units. If we lose, we're going to go up 2 units, and that's a 3 red. Okay, so we're going to go from 15 to 25, and we're going to go back to the ones we started on. Again, we're going to move when we lose. When we win, we're going to keep the numbers we're betting on the same. So here we go. That's a 3 red. That should be a win. Fantastic. So again, when we win, we're up 60, we're going to take off 2 units. So we'll be back at 15, and we bet on the same thing that we bet previously. So here we go. That's a 36 red. We lost, so we're going to move the bets, and you can see we were at 15, so we're going to go to 25. Okay, $75 total bet, and let's spin. With I Like to Move It by Daniel Mathias, and that's a 20 black. And that's a nice win. Again, when we win, we leave the numbers we're betting on the same. We're currently up $90, but we take 2 units off of each bet. These are $5 units, and that's a $45 total bet now, 15 on each. And that's a 5 red. Okay, we won, so we're up $135. Fantastic. So now we go back to base level, and we still bet on what we were betting before. I need to put one back there, and that should just be 5. Okay, so we'll be back at 5 each. $15 total. I'm not sure why that one shows 20 there. Let me try that again. It should be at 5. Let's just put them back out again here. 5, 5, and 5. Well, it's a $5 bet. For some reason, it's glitching and showing 10 there. Here we go. That's a 25 red. And we lost, so we go to 15. And we move to the right. And now we're at a $45 total bet. That's a 25 red. Okay, so now we move back to where we started, and we go from, that was at 15, so we go to 25. We're going up 2 units. And temporarily, we're only up $75, but we'll be back up there in profit once we get a couple wins here. That's a 30 red. That's a nice win, so we'll leave the bets in the same spot, but take them down 2 units from 25 to 15. And let's spin it $45 total bet. That's a 1 red. Another nice win. We're up $195 now. Look at that. And let's go back 2 units again. Now we're back to $5 where we started. And we're back to the original bet. So here we go. That's a 0. We definitely lost that one. So we'll move the bets and we'll go from 5 to 15. All right, let's go ahead and spin. Here we go. That's a 26 black. Okay, we lost, so we'll go to, let's see, we'll go to 25. Okay, let's go ahead and spin. See if we can get a win here. That's a 36 red. That's a nice win, so we'll leave the bets where they are. We're up $210. We'll go back 2 units. Now we're at 15. So that's a $45 total bet. And let's spin. That's a 16 red. Okay, we lost. So we'll move the bets. Let's see where they're at. And okay, so we're going to go back to where we started. And those will be at 25. Okay, let's go ahead and spin. And that's a 27 red. That's a nice win. We're up 240, and we'll take those down 2 units to 15. And spin. Let's get a good win here. That's a 33 black. Okay, we lost that one, so we will move. So let's move them, and then we'll go back up to 25 again. And spin at $75 total bet. That's a 35 black. We lost that one, so we'll move them again. And let's see, so we'll be right here, and we'll be at 35. Okay, that's a 105 total bet. We went up 2 units from 25 to 35. That's a 30 red. We lost again, so we're going to go back to where we started at 45, up 2 more units. So now we're on a little bit of a losing streak, but that's okay. We can come back here, and once we start getting some wins and pull it backwards the other direction, we should see a lot of profit. That's a 31 black. But we lost again, and you can see those were at 45, so we're going to be at 55 now. And let's see, so we'll be on these ones right here. Okay, 165 total bet. Let's spin. That's a 14 red. We lost again. My goodness. Okay, so we're going to go to 65, and we'll be on the ends now. But that's why we have bankroll. This is a $2,000 bankroll system, so we're perfectly fine. You can play for a lot less. You just have to adjust the bet amounts, and we're at 65, 65, and 65. So you could do this with a $400 bankroll and dollar units as well. So here we go. That's a 15 black. Man, we just continue to lose. So this is gonna we still have $1,500 left in the bankroll, but this is we're gonna have to move back to where we started and go to 75. So we're gonna keep moving when we lose. This was going so smoothly, but I think we can still come back. Let's do it. 75, 75, and 75. And here we go. Ouch. We're going to go to 85 now. Up 2 more units. We're going to need a big win streak here after all these losses. I don't know how many we've lost in a row now, but it's huge. How many we've lost in a row. So let's go ahead and go to 85. Up 2 units. And let's spin. Surely we'll get a win here. It's been a long time. That's a 7 red. Okay, we finally got a win. We're at minus 450. We're going to go back 2 units. We leave the bets the same. And we go from 85 to 75. Oops. Let me fix that one. There we go. 225 total bet. I think we deserve a few wins in a row. Let's get one here. That's an 18 red. There we go. That's a good win. We're at minus 225. We'll go back 2 units. Okay, now we'll be at 65 each. And again, we don't move the bets unless we lose. So we're going to keep the numbers the same and see if we can get on a hot streak here. That's a 17 black. Okay, that's a good win. We're climbing back in there. We'll go back 2 units again. 65 to 55. Okay, and then spin at 165 total bet. Let's keep this win streak going. We had a lot of losses. And that's a 9 red. All right, fantastic. Now we're back up again. We're up $135. And let's go back 2 units again. Now we're at 45 each. And let's spin. Here we go. Okay, that's an 8 black. And that's a $135 win. We're up 270. And Daniel says that if you get up a lot, you don't have to work your way all the way back down. So let's go ahead and leave the bets where they're at, but take them back to 5. Because he says that if you establish a big new session profit and the bets are high, don't continue to work your way back down 2 at a time, because you've basically got back in good shape. You don't want to get back there again. So you can see that was a smart decision. We lost. You can see where the bets are. So now we will be here at 15 each instead of at a big number. And here we go. Let's go ahead and spin at 45 total, 15 on each. That's a 1 red, and that is a loss. So that was at 15 each, and you can see where the bets are. We go back to the beginning at 25 each. But you can see if we didn't scale back down when we got in session profit, we wouldn't be in as good a shape as we are in right now. So let's get a win here at 25 each, 75 total. That's a 27 red. That's a nice win, and we're up $285. That's awesome. So especially the way with that huge losing streak, that is amazing. So we'll go back 2 units. Now we're at 15 each, 45 total, and let's spin. That's a 3 red. That's a nice win. We're up $330 now. So let's go ahead and go 2 back. Leave the numbers the same and spin. And here we go. That's a 17 black. That's a $15 win. We're up $345. And we're at base level, so now we just keep them the same until we lose. And here we go. That's a 35 black. That's a loss, so we move the bets, and we go from 5 to 15. All right, this is I Like to Move It by Daniel Mathias, and that's a 32 red. That's a nice win, and we'll just go back 2 units now, back to base level, and we're up $375. Fantastic. Here we go. That's a 30 red. Okay, that's a good win. We're up $390. We're back at base level, so we don't move anything. And here we go. That's an 11 black. Okay, we lost, so we'll move the bets. You can see where they are before. We'll go from 5 to 15, up 2 units. There we go, and let's spin. See if we can get a win here. That's a 13 black. Okay, we lost, so let's see where the bets were, and then we're going to go back to base level, it looks like. So we're going to go, not on the bet, but back to where we started with those. So we're going to go from 15 to 25, up 2 units, and let's get a win here, and let's close this thing out in a good way. That's a 28 black. Okay, that was a good win. We're at $405, and that's our final spin. So after 15 minutes, we made that $405 with I Like to Move It by Daniel Mathias. The 2 up, 2 down, moving double street system. And let me know what you think down in the comments as usual. And if you want to send a system in, send it to roulettemaster.c@gmail.com. That's roulettemaster.c@gmail.com. We do this every single day of the week, 365 days of the year in the search for the best roulette system possible each and every day. And if you're enjoying that search with me, please like, share, and subscribe. And let's keep growing this community of people that absolutely love roulette like I do. And this is the Roulette Master. And have a great day, everybody.